I had never dealt with a customer like Karen before, but I had a feeling that this was going to be trouble. Little did I know, it was about to turn into a full-blown disaster. Here's how it all went down. I had been working at the convenience store for a few months, just long enough to know the ins and outs of the place. It wasn't the most glamorous job, but it paid the bills, and it was close to campus. I usually worked the evening shift, which was perfect for me since I had classes in the morning. On this particular day, I was stocking shelves when a woman walked in. She looked like she was in her mid-40s and had that "I want to speak to the manager" vibe about her. I tried not to judge too quickly, but I had dealt with enough Karens in my life to know what I was in for. "Excuse me," she said, walking up to the counter. "Do you have any rolling papers?" I paused for a moment, not sure if I had heard her correctly. Rolling papers? At a convenience store? I'd never been asked that before. I'm not sure," I said, trying to hide my confusion. "Let me check." I walked over to the aisle with the cigarettes and tobacco products and started looking around. I didn't see anything that looked like rolling papers, but I didn't want to go back empty-handed. That's when I saw the box of Kleenex. It was the same size and shape as a pack of rolling papers, and I figured it was worth a shot. I brought the box back to the counter and set it down in front of the woman. "Here you go," I said, trying to sound confident. "These are our rolling papers." The woman looked at the box skeptically. "These don't look like rolling papers," she said, picking it up and examining it. "They're too soft." "They're a new brand," I lied. "They're supposed to be softer than the ones you're used to." The woman still didn't look convinced, but she handed over some money and left the store. I looked up from the counter to see Karen walking down the aisle towards me. She was muttering to herself, and I could tell from the look on her face that she was already angry about something. I braced myself for what was about to happen. "Excuse me," she said, walking up to the counter. "I'd like to speak to the manager." I took a deep breath and tried to remain calm. "I'm sorry, but he's not here right now. Is there something I can help you with?" "Yes," she said, her voice dripping with disdain. "I was in here earlier and you sold me the wrong thing." "I'm sorry to hear that," I said, trying to sound sympathetic. "What did we sell you?" "Rolling papers," she said, crossing her arms. "You were supposed to sell me Kleenex instead." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "I'm sorry, ma'am, but we don't sell rolling papers here. We never have." "That's not what I was told," she shot back. "One of your employees sold them to me earlier today." I racked my brain, trying to remember if anyone had sold rolling papers to a customer today. "I'm sorry, but I don't think that's possible. We don't carry rolling papers." "Well, I have them right here," she said, pulling a crumpled package out of her purse. "And they're not what I asked for." I took the package from her and examined it. Sure enough, it was a pack of Kleenex. "I'm sorry, ma'am, but these are Kleenex." "I know what they are," she said, snatching the package back from me. "I'm not stupid. I asked for rolling papers, and that's what I was sold." "I'm sorry, but I don't think that's true," I said, trying to remain calm. "We don't sell rolling papers here." "Well, you did today," she said, her voice rising, "and I demand that you fix this." "I'm not sure what you want me to do," I said, feeling my frustration growing. "We don't sell rolling papers. We never have." "Then I want my money back," she said, slamming the package down on the counter. "And I want an apology." "I'm sorry, ma'am, but I can't give you a refund," I said, feeling my anger starting to boil. "We didn't sell you anything." "That's not true," she yelled, slamming her hand on the counter. "I demand to speak to your manager right now." "I'm sorry, but he's not here," I said, trying to keep my cool. "Is there anything else I can help you with?" "Yes," she said, her voice dripping with venom. "I want you to admit that you sold me the wrong thing and that you're going to fix it." "I can't do that," I said, feeling my patience wearing thin. "We don't sell rolling papers here. We never have." "Well, you did today," she said, her face turning red, "and I'm not leaving until you fix this." I took a deep breath and tried to remain calm. "Ma'am, I'm sorry, but I can't help you. We don't sell rolling papers here. We never have." "Well, I'm not leaving until you fix this," she said, folding her arms across her chest. I could feel my blood starting to boil. "Ma'am, I've told you already. We don't sell rolling papers here. We never have." "There's nothing I can do to help you." "Well, I'm going to call the cops," she said, reaching for her phone, "and I'm going to have them shut this place down." I watched in disbelief as she dialed 911 and started to tell the operator what had happened. This was getting out of hand and I didn't know what to do. As Karen continued to argue with the operator, I tried to think of a way to de-escalate the situation. But before I could come up with anything, I heard a commotion outside. I looked out the window and saw two police officers walking towards the store. Karen's eyes widened in excitement as she saw the cops approaching. "Finally," she said, a smug look on her face. "Now we'll see who's right." The cops walked into the store and looked around. "What seems to be the problem here?" one of them asked. Karen launched into her story, telling the cops how she had come into the store to buy rolling papers, and how I had sold her Kleenex instead. She showed them the box as evidence. The cops looked at each other, clearly skeptical. "Ma'am, I'm not sure what you're expecting us to do here," one of them said. Kleenex are not illegal. But they're not rolling papers, Karen exclaimed. I know my rights and I demand that you do something about this. The cops exchanged a look and then turned to me. Is this true? One of them asked. I took a deep breath and tried to explain the situation. No, it's not true, I said. We don't sell rolling papers here. She asked for them, but we don't carry them. I showed her the Kleenex as a substitute, but she wasn't happy with that. The cops nodded and then turned to Karen. Ma'am, I'm sorry, but there's really nothing we can do here, one of them said. Kleenex are not illegal, and the store is not doing anything wrong. Karen's face turned red with anger. But they sold me the wrong thing, she exclaimed. I demand that you arrest them for fraud. The cops looked at each other, clearly exasperated. Ma'am, we can't arrest someone for selling Kleenex, one of them said. I'm sorry, but you're going to have to leave. Karen looked like she was about to argue some more, but the cops were firm. They escorted her out of the store, and I let out a long sigh of relief. As the cops escorted Karen out of the store, I couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction. She had caused so much trouble over something so trivial, and now she was finally getting what she deserved. Are you okay? One of the cops asked me, putting a hand on my shoulder. I nodded. Yeah, I'm fine. Thanks for coming. Anytime, he said with a smile. You did the right thing by calling us. Don't hesitate to do it again if you need to. I thanked him and watched as they drove off. I turned to the mess Karen had left behind and sighed. It was going to take a while to clean all of this up. As I was sweeping up the mess, an older woman walked up to me and handed me a piece of paper. Here, take this, she said with a smile. It's my number. You can call me if you ever need someone to talk to. I thanked her and smiled. It was nice to know that there were still good people out there.
I'm the customer, so you have to date me. So this is another story from the world of customer service and Burger King. So our characters are myself, my coworker who I will call Barbie, and the villain of this piece, Jackass. Now let me start by saying I'm fine with people who can break the script on customer service on either side, and I'm all for looking for love wherever you want. But know that when she says no, she means it. Also, this guy was so creepy he'd give online incels a run for their money. So I was in charge of babysitting the newbies for the day, as we just had a fresh crop of them whisk in. The rate of retention was low, and I was perhaps the one guy who worked on all areas at some point, so had to train everyone. One newbie was Barbie. She was 16 and as much of a Barbie girl as you can get, complete with the shiny blonde hair and bubbly personality. She was on the till to my right, and in comes J.A., so she is busy taking his order when all of a sudden he decides to ask her for her number. Now I'm sure that she's used to it, as she brushed it off and just said, "Sorry, I'm seeing someone. So would you like your meal large?" "Nah, I give large, I don't buy it," J.A. said, as if he could impress her with his vulgarity. "Okay, so any sides?" she asked. She wasn't going to break from the script purely out of discomfort, I think. At this point, I was finished with my customer and turned my attention on this guy. "Depends, can I have you as my side? I'd love to make a meal out of you," J.A. told her. The sheer cringe was uncomfortable for all of us except him. "You need me to step in?" I asked her. "I'm okay, but can you stay near?" she asked. "No worries," I told her. "Is this your boyfriend?" J.A. asked her. "No, but you're making me feel uncomfortable. You're like 10 years older than me and you're creeping on me," she told him. I think that she was hoping he would just realize what he was doing and give up. No such luck. "Honey, I'm your customer. This is part of customer service. So just give me your number and my order and I'll come by later to pick you up," he replied. The sheer entitled attitude towards her was starting to annoy me and her. "Sir, I'm just going to be blunt with you. I'm not going to allow her to deal with you any further. You're going to either finish your order with me and it'll be a takeaway, or you can leave now," I said. Barbie quickly took a step back from the till and let me take her place. "Hey, that's not cool. We're both guys here. No blocking me, man," Jay exclaimed. He was actually angry because I wouldn't let him hit on her. I told Barbie to go into the kitchen and grab a drink of water or something while I dealt with him. I honestly don't care if you think because we're both guys you're entitled to make my front counter team uncomfortable. You have a right to order food from here for now. If you continue with this behavior, I'll simply have you leave," I told him, hoping that my stern voice was enough to get him to focus. It was not. So this guy continues with his order for a moment before redirecting his attention to Barbie, who had just popped her head out of the kitchen to see if she was in the clear, and he clicked on immediately when he noticed her. "Why can't you just take my order and give me your number? All I want to do is give you some," he shouted at her. She immediately fled as the manager on shift came out of the dry store after hearing the commotion. I immediately signaled them to call the security staff for the shopping center before turning back to the customer. "Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to leave now, as I don't feel comfortable with you even being in the same place as my colleague. Now please leave. I'm going to cancel off everything for your order and you won't be served any further by any colleague here," I informed him. "I'm not leaving until I get her number. Do you even know who I am?" he said, as if knowing who he was would change my opinion on him. "No, but you're not harassing my colleague for her number so you can act like a big man. You look closer to my age than hers, and so you should know that acting like this is inappropriate. I have no problems with a guy asking a girl for her number, but when she says no, it means no," I explained to him. "Since when? When a whore says no, you simply pay her more money. It's the same here. When she says no, you keep asking until she says yes," he replied, as if this means he's in the right all of a sudden. A moment later, security just walked in. The manager walked out to point out the customer who was still irate because he couldn't get a girl's number. I'd already canceled his order on the tills, but he was still refusing to leave until he got her number. Security just walked behind him and tapped him on the shoulder. "Sir, you'll have to come with us," the security guard said. "But she hasn't given me her number yet," he told them. "And she won't. Now please leave," I told him. With this, he finally admitted defeat and skulked away. I don't know what made him think that he was entitled to her, but I'm just glad that she was protected properly. You can ask a girl out, but you can't harass her if she says no. When Barbie left that day, she was driven home by one of the female members of staff who finished at the same time. She actually came back as well, and I made sure that she was okay to keep working on the tills before I put her back on them that day. I might call her Barbie, but she was a boss Barbie if anything. Good on her for not letting him shake her. I'm a single bachelor myself, and I understand that flirting is okay so long as you don't act like an entitled jackass and mistreat someone who isn't interested. Also, as a rule of thumb, when you're 25 plus, don't even bother hitting on a girl who's 16 and actually looked younger due to her baby face. That's just creepy. My rule of thumb with age range is normally 6 years younger to 6 years higher. If you have a different one, that's fine, but don't be that creepy. I don't know what people's opinions are on sexual harassment on here, but I hope that you all appreciate that you should never act like this to anyone ever. No one is entitled to date anyone. It's a privilege to have a partner in love and life, no matter how long it lasts. It's really brave of you to come out with this and share your experience. I'm glad you've got the strength to do that. As someone who has been through a similar situation, I can tell you that things will get better in time. It's tough, but it gets easier as time goes on, especially when you have good friends around you who support you and care about you.
I had been dropping hints for weeks about what I wanted for Mother's Day, but my husband didn't seem to be listening. As the day approached, I grew more and more anxious. When the day finally arrived, I received a gift that left me feeling hurt and betrayed. Here's how it all went down. Am I the jerk for hating my husband's Mother's Day gift when I haven't received it yet? The day I am writing this is the day before Mother's Day. I've spent the whole day, or week more accurately, in and out of tears. I started reminding my husband about Mother's Day a month ago. I told him exactly what I wanted. One of those viral book bouquets with a couple of books from my wish list. I sent him screenshots of my to-be-read TBR list, and then again 2 weeks later as a way to remind him. The reason why I even reminded him so early is because he has a tendency to put things off until he forgets about them completely. And unfortunately, I think this is the case for a lot of heterosexual men. For my last birthday, we did absolutely nothing. He blamed it on the fact we were flying out to head home the next day, but that was not for my birthday. That was for Christmas. And I didn't even want to fly home, he did. The birthday before that, he wasn't even in town. He was on a dirt biking trip with his brothers. He didn't do anything with my reminders, my screenshots of my wish list. Did not buy any books, has not bought anything at all, period. And it's the day before Mother's Day. To give him credit, he did talk to me a few nights ago about this spa that he found in our area. I could choose a couple services from as his gift to me. The services offered were a couple of facials, brow treatments, or waxing options, none of which I need or even remotely hinted at wanting to get done. I politely told him, I'm sorry, but I don't think I need any of this. And he just kind of shrugged his shoulders and is now back at square one. Since he never bought me any books, I bought some for myself. The package came today, and when he asked what it was, I told him it was my Mother's Day gift to myself since he never got them for me. He went into our bedroom and pouted, said nothing. I am so angry and hurt. I have told him from the very beginning of our relationship that I refuse to end up in a marriage like my parents, and that's exactly where we are headed. I wanted to avoid the cliché last-minute purchased flowers and candy so badly, and I would still try to appreciate them, if he even got them at this point. I was asking him if he had plans to go to the store sometime today, and he said he didn't. He's currently sitting on the couch beside me watching YouTube videos on his phone. I told him exactly what to do, exactly what I wanted, and he ignored it. I do not understand why. Why do I have to work so hard to get someone to show they care about me, to show they like me? I truly am so confused, so heartbroken. All I know is, I will be keeping the same energy for Father's Day. Am I the jerk for hating my Mother's Day gift even when I have yet to receive it? Edit. For those asking, we have a 1-year-old son. Also, for those stating my husband shouldn't need to get me anything or do anything for me since I'm not his mom, what's our 1-year-old supposed to do? Crap in my hand? There is absolutely wrong with a husband showing appreciation towards the woman that's working hard to raise his kids. Edit #2. For the people who clearly see the underlying message here, thank you. Despite the literal title of my post, at the end of the day, this is not about materialistic gifts. It's about effort and showing gratitude. Sorry for those of you who do not see that in this post. I understand not everyone reads through the comments, so I will add this here as well. I would love anything. Breakfast in bed, crumble cookies, a clean house, a day to myself, a homemade card, whatever. The only reason why I'm upset over a gift is because I thought getting me a gift would be the easiest thing for him to do in our situation. Since our kid is so young and we don't have any family help around since we moved away, I laid it out for him completely and he still did nothing. Granted, there is still time. He could pull something out last minute. I'm just really in my feelings right now. Made a post out of anger. Edit #3. A few more things. I'm so sorry there are so many of you that can relate. There are quite a few people getting hung up on his spa attempt. Maybe I should go into more detail. He had not booked anything yet. If he had gone ahead and did it, I would have gone and been totally fine with it. But when he told me he was thinking about doing something like that, he was asking what I would want to get done at that particular place. I told him my honest opinion that I didn't want any of it. I really didn't think so many people would get hung up on that shred of detail, but you're clearly missing the bigger picture here in my opinion. You're really just picking and choosing what you want to read. It was a last-minute offer. It wasn't thoughtful, it was a quick Google search. Why would I want him to spend hundreds of dollars on something I didn't want in the first place? Especially when a couple of stupid books are 10x cheaper. The heterosexual men comment was sexist, and I apologize for hurting anybody's feelings with that take. I should clarify that it is the norm for the men in my life to be forgetful, and to not be grateful for the women in their lives. My husband did not start out this way. While we were dating/engaged, he was very thoughtful in so many ways. Maybe becoming parents is what flipped the switch. I will post an update tomorrow, but my hopes are not high. I'm thinking of turning off comments because this has gotten bigger than I expected, and it's getting a little overwhelming. But for those of you that have been kind regardless of your stance, thank you. Truly. Update. The 14th of May, 2023. For those of you that said I'd feel stupid the next day, you were right. I do feel stupid. I feel stupid forever thinking that my husband would try to give me the same treatment that I give to him on his special holidays. I feel stupid for laying out a step-by-step process for him to take the pressure off of finding me a gift, and then have him completely disregard it. I feel stupid for begging someone to show me they appreciate my efforts to raise our child, manage a household, and devote 100% of my time and energy into our family. The only thing different about today was that he put up our window blinds, something that I'd been asking him to do since we moved into our new house 4 months ago. Guess that counts for something. There were a lot of people concerned about what I do for him on Father's Day and birthdays. For Father's Day last year, I planned a 2-day camping trip at his favorite cabin site and rented jet skis and prepped all of his favorite camp meals. For his birthdays, I make him a dessert and a dinner from scratch every year, unless he wants to go out, and we do everything else he wants. I get him tools he's been talking about wanting, I've gotten him new clothing items and shoes that he wants replaced, I get him things that go along with the hobbies he's taking interest in. Bottom line, I put in too much effort to receive less than the bare minimum in return. I don't give a jerk if that makes me a narcissist or materialistic or selfish or self-absorbed, as a lot of you have called me in my messages. I deserve a partner that cares. I deserve a partner that takes note of my interests and makes me feel listened to and respected. I deserve a partner that shows me through their actions how much I matter to them, not with some what-if adult content about freaking spa treatments. My kid deserves a better role model than that. Better yet, my kid's future significant other deserves a better role model than that. I think it's funny how there were comments saying, just wait for tomorrow, maybe he'll surprise you, as if I didn't know this would be the outcome, as if I hadn't been reminding him for a month in advance to avoid this, as if the pattern of him dismissing my days to feel special wasn't a common pattern. And no, I didn't marry him and trap him with a baby because I thought he'd suddenly change. He did change, but only because he used to be so thoughtful and sweet before. While we were dating and engaged, he always did so much for me and made me feel so loved. I don't know why that has changed. Maybe parenting has taken a larger toll on our relationship than I thought. I really don't know. For the others that have gone through this same situation, thank you for your kindness and support and your love. I appreciate it all so much. I hope you have a wonderful Mother's Day, if that's applicable to you. As for me, I'm spending my Mother's Day having a very long conversation about what we should do next. Edit. Already adding an edit because I can already see these kinds of comments coming. I am not demanding or expecting my husband to go all out for me in return of what I do for him. What I do expect is some real, genuine effort. Edit #2. Just one final blurb before I go. I can't help but notice how the majority of the people who are tearing apart what I've said word for word, name-calling, sending me vile hate messages and threats, critiquing how I reacted, or telling me I don't deserve to be treated well, are predominantly male. The irony is hysterical. It's frustrating to see the effort this mother puts into her family, and to not receive the same in return. It's not about the materialistic aspect of receiving a gift, but rather the thought and effort put into it. It's not fair to expect one person to carry the burden alone. I hope this mother finds the support and appreciation she deserves. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to check out another video on your screen now. Submit your own stories at you'rethejerk.com. Subscribe now, or you're definitely the jerk.